got a loaded episode here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Shane Waldron, does he want Caleb Williams? We'll dive into that. Ben Johnson, there's news around him. He is staying with the Lions. Could he be a future Matt Eberflus replacement? And plus, the Bears have hired a wide receiver coach. We'll take a look at all the new staff additions that have been made up to this point. But we're doing something a little bit different today. It probably hasn't shown yet, but I've been working hard. I've been working out since first week of January or so. And usually 30, 40-minute workouts is kind of what I've been doing. So every share we get on today's video, up to 100, because I don't know if I can work out for 2 hours based on where I'm at in my trying to get back into shape movement. Every share we get is 1 minute of how much I'll work out on my next workout. We'll say tomorrow because tonight we won't know how many shares we have. So every share is 1 minute of workout. We get 50 shares, 50-minute workout. We get 10 shares, I'll do more than 10 minutes because I need to work out longer, but you get the point. You want me to work out longer? Share the video. You click the share icon, you post it to Twitter, to Facebook. I think Snapchat's an option, wherever the hell you guys want to share this video. Let's make it happen and make me work out longer so I can get into better shape. All right, let's talk about this quarterback OC situation. Shane Waldron. I'm kind of speculating a little bit here, but Albert Breer, NFL Insider, joined ESPN 1000 today, and he kind of talked about a topic he wrote about a week or two ago, and he basically said that the chance to coach Caleb Williams was what made the Bears offensive coordinator gig attractive. If that sounds familiar, that's because it is a little bit, but I thought he added some more nuance here. Here's what Breer had to say, a lengthy quote here, so stay with us. One of the things that excited OC candidates about the job was the chance to take Caleb Williams. Now, from my understanding, Matt Eberflus did defend Justin Fields. He said that before as well, and his performance. If you're looking at it as, does Justin deserve a fourth year in Chicago? Yeah, he does. But the problem is, now you have to think about signing him to a long-term extension, and yes, you could trade the first pick for a bounty of picks, or you could trade Justin and take Caleb and have that QB, or have a QB that has generational ability and talent on a rookie contract for the next 4 years. It's not like Justin is a bust. It's more of just a very unique opportunity with a very uniquely talented player, and a player that you're going to have at a fraction of the cost of what it would cost to keep Justin for the next 3 to 4 years. And yeah, he said similar stuff recently. He reported that Eberflus defended Justin in interviews. He also said that Caleb, the opportunity to coach Caleb and have that number one pick and have say in that selection, yada, 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 was appealing to offensive coordinator candidates. Now, I think it is interesting that he also doubled down on the contract, the timeline, because that's really what a lot of this comes down to. And I've said this for a while, and without giving my final answer and decision, is that this isn't really about Justin's shortcomings, in my opinion. This is more about, if you think Caleb is a clear upgrade, that's obviously something you have to consider. And I do think the Bears, I do think Matt Eberflus in particular likes Justin Fields. I also believe that the number one pick was the most appealing part of this job for offensive coordinator candidates, because this is something else Breer talked about in ESPN 1000. In a lot of situations like this, candidates would look at Matt Eberflus as a potential lame duck coach and like, oh my God, I'm going to move there, and if we underachieve, the whole thing's getting blown up. So other jobs would be more attractive, but other jobs don't have the number one pick in the NFL draft. The Bears do. So if you're Shane Waldron, the chance to coach Caleb Williams is probably the most appealing part of this job when he was looking at it from that lens. So that's why I do think there's a very, very strong chance and reason that that's why he took this job, because he felt like the Bears would likely take Caleb Williams and that he could be the architect of this kid's career, which of course could help launch his career further into being a future head coach. Do you think the Bears will draft Caleb Williams? Not what you want, what you think. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Pen comment on today's episode. Give me an answer right there. How about Ben Johnson 2025? It's an election year and no coaching change this year, but maybe next year could be a possibility because, hey, the Lions offensive coordinator, pretty stunningly, has decided to not pursue the Commanders or Seahawks job. He is staying in the NFC North with the Detroit Lions. That's a negative for this year for the Bears, but maybe it's a positive in the future if Matt Eberflus doesn't work out. More thoughts on that in just a moment, but I do want to show some love to our proud sponsor. It is Prize Picks, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. They'll get you a deposit match up to $100. It's the best daily fantasy sports app out there because it's DFS made easy. You can make your entries in less than 1 minute. You can create an account in less than 1 minute. All you do is select 2 to 6 player entries on any given entry and select more or less on their stat projections from Prize Picks. You're not playing pros and sharks. It's just you versus the numbers. And I've already got a Super Bowl entry out there. I'm going to put out several more as well. They have a deal right now. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's going to throw for a passing yard. So you already got one part of your entry selected. I guess if he gets concussed in warm-ups, then he would not. But that's why Prize Picks is awesome too, because if a player gets hurt in the first half, they just take that player out of your entry there. So you're good to go. I like Isaiah Pacheco to find the end zone. Chiefs cover receivers really well, so I like the less on Debo receiving yards. But they do give up yards to running backs and tight ends. So Christian McCaffrey catching the ball out of the backfield, I like him to hit them more there. Get signed up today. Join comedian Andrew Schultz, rapper Meek Mill, and several other celebrities that are playing Prize Picks on the daily. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Link is in the comments and in the description. Code CLNS gets you a deposit match up to $100. Now, there's been a few reported reasons as to why Ben Johnson is staying in Detroit. Number one is, and kudos to Josina Anderson. She threw this out there about a month ago, and people basically said she was full of it. But that was also reported today that the asking price, this is a direct quote from Adam Schefter, spooked some teams. Did he ask for $15 million per year as first-time head coach? I don't know. But apparently that was part of it. And another report that came out is that he wants to win a Super Bowl, and he probably feels like Detroit let an opportunity slip here, so he's going to go back for a third season. And maybe he didn't view Seattle or Washington as true opportunities to get to a Super Bowl, at least in the near future. My first reaction is, man, this division, guys, is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, you just saw what Detroit's done the last year and a half. They finished 2022 very strong, almost made the playoffs. This year, go all the way to the NFC Championship game. Should have made the Super Bowl, for being completely honest. Green Bay, youngest team in the NFL. They made the playoffs, won a game, hammered Dallas in the wild card round, almost beat San Francisco. The Bears are a very young team as well. Number one pick, cap space. There's no reason why the Bears can't be a playoff team next year. And if Kirk Cousins returns to the Vikings, they're still going to be solid. Like, this division coming into this year was like, is this the worst division in the league? This or the NFC South? It was clearly the NFC South. But it's gone from being in that conversation to, is this the best division in the NFL on paper? I would say the AFC North is tougher, but beyond that, I mean, it's right there, if we're being completely honest, at least if you're projecting ahead. Another angle I have here is, what about this? What if Matt Eberflus and the Bears miss the playoffs? Because to me, if they don't go to the playoffs next year, barring some major injury like at quarterback or something like that, there's really no excuse. Like, you blew it this year by blowing 3 games. If you go 7-10, 8-9 again, whatever the case may be, like, you're going to have to upgrade at coach. Maybe Ben Johnson's that guy. I would think he'd be a very strong candidate to replace Flus. Same division. Opportunity to work with, if it's Caleb Williams at the time, or if you're drafting a QB next year, or if it's Justin Fields, you'd have that opportunity. He can help maximize that player, whoever it is. You would think that would be appealing. He wouldn't have to move that far, Detroit to Chicago, not very far. So just fruit for thought there. Again, it's a bummer because I kind of viewed Detroit as a classic regression candidate for next year. You're going to lose Ben Johnson. You might lose Aaron Glenn. Well, they might all be back, and they might be coming with a vengeance next year. So this division's going to be a beating, man. And with that in mind, will the Bears be a playoff team next year? I hope. I still think it's possible, and that should be the expectation. And quite frankly, if you're not, Flus needs to go, but it ain't going to be easy. That's all I got to say. Some news here. The Bears hired a wide receiver coach this morning. It is Chris Beatty. He is replacing Tyke Tolbert in Chicago. Beatty has been with the Los Angeles Chargers past few years. You look at his experience, kind of his resume. He was a high school head coach, late 90s through 2005. Bounced around the college landscape from 06 to 18. Do want to mention a couple of notable ones. He was at Illinois. We'll get to his Maryland stint in a minute. A few other colleges in there as well. Jumped to the NFL, was with the Steelers from 19 to 20. Chargers the last 3 seasons as well. Now he lands in Chicago. He was with DJ Moore at Maryland in 16 and 17. I think that's very, very noteworthy as well. So DJ Moore knows this guy. And look, quarterback and wide receiver development is vital for the Bears moving forward. Kerry Joseph, the new quarterbacks coach, who is the quarterbacks coach at the Senior Bowl, so get a close look at him this week, and Chris Beatty, the wide receivers coach, they have got to be hits. You've got to develop whoever the quarterback is. If it's Justin, he's got to take steps forward. If it's a rookie, you got to develop him. And other than DJ Moore, the last 2 years, this wide receiver group we talked about the other day has just been so underwhelming. Darnell Mooney regressed. Tyler Scott didn't do as much as we thought he would as a rookie. Bayless Jones has been a train wreck. Like, you've got to get more production and more value out of these receivers. And I assume you're going to add some receivers and probably a rookie. You got to develop that player as well. So hopefully these are the right guys for the job. You look at the coaches that the Bears have hired this offseason. You get Shane Waldron, Eric Washington as your coordinators, Kerry Joseph, QB's coach, Chris Beatty's the wide receiver coach, and really the last notable hire here, there will be some deeper assistants on offense probably, but it's the running backs coach. And I'm blanking on the name, but the only interview I'm aware of is the guy who's on Seattle staff as well. I would assume they expand that search a little bit further, but I think that's a big one too, because once David Walker left last season, middle of the year, due to whatever that HR violation was, I didn't think the running backs played as well, and pass protection in particular. So you want to get a good coach there as well. So we'll see what they end up doing. I like a lot of these hires, but it's all projecting at this point. Now, who is your favorite new coach? I think it's got to be Waldron. He's an upgrade over Luke Getsy, in my opinion, and that was vital to this. So I'll go Waldron. I do really like Eric Washington, though. I think that's a really, really good hire, very experienced. And he's not going to be calling the plays, so you don't have to worry about that. So very excited about that. Favorite new coach, drop his name down in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to Chicago Bears Now. We will be back for much more tomorrow. A couple of videos. Don't forget to share. Make my workout longer. Trying to shed some weight here. YouTube.com/BearsNow. We'll see you guys soon. Bear down.